What's the one thing that Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, and Candace Owens all have in common? Different personalities, different audiences, and different styles. But all three have crossed lines they weren't supposed to cross. And the second they did, the machine turned on them. Not because people disagreed with them, that's normal. Not because criticism exists, that's part of free speech. No, the response today is much different. It's coordinated headlines, sponsor pressure, algorithm suppression, public smears, and just career destruction. And what's crazy is you don't even have to like these people to notice the pattern, because modern censorship doesn't always come with handcuffs anymore. Sometimes it comes with lost money, lost platforms, lost reputation, and a giant media machine telling millions of people what they're allowed to think. Welcome back to PSIND, Politics Suck, Independence. And today we're going to be talking about the modern silencing machine. So let's start with Tucker Carlson. Love him or hate him, the guy was pulling massive ratings at Fox News. We're talking one of the biggest names in cable news. But something changed. The more Tucker started questioning foreign wars, intelligence agencies, pharmaceutical companies, and establishment narratives, the more controversial he became. And not just to the left, but to powerful people everywhere. And then suddenly, he was gone. Now, obviously, Fox had their reasons publicly, lawsuits, internal issues, and corporate decisions, whatever explanation they wanted to use. But a lot of people noticed something interesting. The second Tucker became harder to control, he became disposable. And what happened after? He didn't disappear. He went independent. Millions followed him online because people are getting tired of heavily filtered corporate media, where every opinion somehow magically lands in the exact same approved lane. And that's the scary part for legacy media. Independent platforms remove gatekeepers, no producer whispering in their ear, no corporate board approving every sentence, and no advertisers deciding what truths are acceptable. That's the kind of freedom that terrifies institutions. Then there's people like Dave Smith, a comedian, a podcaster, strictly a libertarian voice. He's not some giant network anchor, and honestly, that's probably what makes him the most dangerous to the establishment. Because Dave Smith represents something completely new. A person with a microphone and an audience that corporate media just can't fully control. No billion-dollar studio needed, no mainstream approval needed, just long-form conversation, and that's why podcasts explode. Because people realized they'd rather hear a 2-hour conversation than a 7-second edited clip designed to manufacture outrage. But once independent voices grow too large, the attacks start. Suddenly they're dangerous. Suddenly they're extremist. And suddenly every word gets dissected under a microscope. And maybe sometimes criticism is fair, but the pattern stays the same. If you question the machine long enough, eventually the machine will label you as the problem. Now let's talk about Candace Owens. Candace is interesting because she wasn't treated like an outsider at first. She was embraced by the conservative media, a huge following, a big platform, with millions of views. But the moment she started stepping into topics considered untouchable, things started to shift, especially conversations involving foreign policy, influence networks, and powerful lobbying interests, and Charlie Kirk. And then suddenly, public fractures started appearing. Eventually, she split from the Daily Wire, and whether people agree with her or not isn't even the point. The point is how quickly support disappears when someone moves outside the approved boundaries. That's what people are noticing now. The establishment doesn't only punish enemies anymore. Sometimes it punishes its own people for stepping too far off the script. And this is where it goes way beyond Tucker Carlson and way beyond Dave Smith and way beyond Candace Owens. This is about the system itself. Because modern censorship evolved, back in the day, censorship looked obvious. Books being burnt, journalists getting arrested, governments openly banning speech. And now it's quieter. Algorithms bury content, advertisers pull funding, platforms demonetize creators, media outlets coordinate narratives, and public pressure campaigns destroy reputations overnight. So technically nobody banned you, but the message becomes crystal clear. You speak carefully, you question carefully, and you stay inside the approved narrative, or you pay the price. And again, this episode isn't saying every independent voice is automatically right. That would be stupid. People can be wrong, people can exaggerate, and people can spread bad information, and sometimes misinformation. But when questioning powerful institutions becomes dangerous, society has a problem. Because real freedom of speech isn't protecting opinions everybody already agrees with. It's protecting uncomfortable conversations. And whether you lean left, right, libertarian, independent, or none of the above, you should never want a world where powerful systems decide what questions are allowed to be asked. Because once fear controls speech, power stops being challenged, and history shows that never ends well. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.